enemy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the casual stream. A special version of the casual stream. This is the casual stream cross bass talks live with your boy Bass the Kid. So as always, please like and subscribe, share with a friend, colleague, a relative, an associate, an enemy, any and all in between. It's appreciated. Now I decided not to use the laptop today just in case it starts playing up. My Wi-Fi connection hasn't been the greatest of late. I think I need to get the router changed, or I need to get closer to the actual server, the modem, all that stuff. But hopefully it should be a bit stronger here, and hopefully everything should last out in time for this. But yeah, shout out to everyone who's jumped in so far. I will get to comments. As you guys seen, I will be joined by the lovely Natasha Jonas a little bit later on, sometime after 8. So I figured before Natasha comes on, and we talk the shits, everything. Natasha, Joe Gallagher, Boxer, Ivana Habazin, unifications, other bucket list items and all that good stuff. Let's just talk. Let's do the talks. Let's do that casual stream. To let you guys know, on Thursday we will be having an extra casual stream, an extra casual stream. We'll be talking everything not boxing related. So yeah, we're going to get into movies. I've seen a couple new movies we're going to talk about. Obviously Netflix stuff, Amazon Prime, WWE, UFC. If people want to talk about that, football, like whatever, we're just going to spend an hour and a half chopping it up for everything non-boxing. But sometimes you need to decompress. You need to, just have a moment away. And that's what we're going to do. Especially this week, there are some fights on, but none of them are particularly that big. So, because of that, I can take a bit more time and do other things, experiment with some other stuff for the rest of this week. But yeah, shout out to everyone who is in the building. Let me get to the chat. Let me get to all the people that are around. Man like Ahija Selassie, #1 in the building today. Shout out to you. Toby Bartlett in the building, big up. Philip Answer as well, big ups to you. Hot Pies as well. Man like Mulla Mulla, Untraceable in the building. Emma Willis, shout out. I'm still going to slander Boxer. Don't worry, I've still got some Boxer slander as well, and there will be some questions regarding Boxer when Tash does come on. She knows I'm never shy to ask a question. Yes, we need to talk about Gladiator. We do. And you know what? We'll talk about that on Thursday. But what I'm going to say is that's the reason I didn't see Monday Night Smoke. I was at the cinema with my phone on Do Not Disturb because they started 2 hours early. Man then called me out, called my phone. I didn't even know my phone rang till I left the cinema at like nearly midnight. And then I see I got a call from KG, and I got some other missed calls from other people. I'll call KG back, but anyone who knows KG knows his phone. He's never by his phone. If you miss a call from KG, like, you're not getting him back on the phone. You could literally miss a call him back 2 seconds later, and he's gone. That's just what KG is like. So. But yeah, I'll be pulling up next week to have my say, and whatever people want to say, I'll be there. I went to cinema to watch. Yes, okay. So man like Muller knew the deal. Right, let me get to. I saw Untraceable asked me a question. Where's that one at? Why did the breakdown end on undefeated? Yeah. So basically, all it was is that we enjoyed doing it. Like, the guys enjoyed having it there, but it just wasn't growing the way we thought it would. We knew obviously it wasn't going to be like the big numbers on the channel, but we thought consistently we'll start to kind of build more and more of an audience. But there was just a lot of time that wasn't really hitting the peaks, and even on certain weeks that we thought, okay, this would be a highly engaging week, it just wasn't really kicking into gear. And then obviously you've got like Tony, who does his he's got his boxing commitments after after school and that, when he's, you know, he's teaching, he's got his classes, so it's a bit difficult for him to sometimes get back, and things are getting pushed, you know, getting pushed out of time and sync, and it's, you know, some certain times the consistency from both of us just wasn't quite where it needed to be, and you know, sometimes there's distractions around, and it's like we needed to sort of keep things professional enough to where those distractions weren't becoming evidently noticeable during the product, and you know, at times it just wasn't really happening. So yeah, we've just cut it, but you know, there are possible talks to bring it back in a different iteration. Possibly there's you know, there's been talks to have it come over here and do certain things on my channel from time to time, and there's some other stuff that I'm going to be doing with, obviously, Undefeated Boys within the channel, and Tony was also going to be doing some other stuff. So there's a lot of things that are going to be, you know, developing, but I guess trial and error, that's the best way I can kind of put it, untraceable. Tony watching football. Well, I mean, that doesn't help at times, but like I said, we've both had issues before, or times when we weren't as locked in as we should have been, and you know, you can just kind of tell that either our chemistry's off or our energy's off, you know, different things like that. It gets, sometimes the late nights is just, yeah, and sometimes also because we're tasked with like watching all the boxing that's kind of going on, it was becoming less enjoyable to actually watch it. It was becoming a chore, and then you had to try and watch every single thing, and then if I've watched everything and Tony hasn't, then the conversation can't really be had. If he's watched everything and I've not been able to, and I can't get a stream, then sometimes, yeah, like I said, the dynamic's just different. So it is what it is. You know, like I said, we're all good. We're all still good. I saw Tony the other day. He's blessed. We're gonna do something. We still got a sparring session to sort out. I know he's calling out Travis, but he's still got this work to worry about. So we're gonna get all of that sorted. Don't worry. Shout out to that guy. Good to see Natasha get out 100%. Long overdue. I see Tevin Farmer saying he and Zepeda weren't drug tested. Yes, he's been saying that for the last few days. So obviously I mean, look, a lot of people kind of had a suspicion that how do you throw punches non-stop, round after round after round? Like, you know, it's, yeah, there's conditioning can be one thing, but it doesn't seem right. So people have called questions the same way they call questions about Jerome Miller and a few other people before certain results came in, and now you kind of see how things have changed in terms of their outputs. Shout out to man like Dan, hardest working guy on hardest working guy on X or Twitter X, sorry. Dan the man, hardest working guy in SC15. Natasha looks good for her age. She looks more than good for her age. And I've told her that as well. He's ducking you like Jones is ducking Aspinall. Now, to be fair, Tony's always in the gym. I need to I need to find time to go down there. The main thing is my schedule and his schedule ain't syncing up the way it should do. But don't worry. By the end of this year, I'm pretty sure we'll get it on and cracking, and we'll film it for the people. Tevin secretly won. I think so. I scored it 5 rounds apiece. So with the knockdown, I had it 95-94 to Tevin. Just like one of the judges did. So wait, yeah, one of the judges did have it that way. I'm pretty sure of it. Not Tevin, whatever. I had the Tevin fight a draw. Yeah, exactly. 5 rounds to 5. But with the knockdown, he should have got the decision. Shout out to Jonas 31. But okay, we had 10 minutes of introductions. Let's talk about this this collision course card. Obviously, Boxer have come under a lot of scrutiny over the last couple of months, especially since the the issues with Ben Whittaker and Liam Cameron and Fraser Clark, etc. And I was one of the first people that did come to them and said, look, I did my research, and I was like, you know, in your first year you did 16 fights, last year you did 12, and this year you've done 7. Like, what's going on? Like, can we expect more next season or next year? And you know, Ben Shalom told me that what he basically said, he hung Sky out to dry. In as far as I'm concerned, he basically said that you know, Sky was only looking to prioritize the big fights, which basically means that they was looking for the pay-per-view shows, and they couldn't get those pay-per-view shows. So once that didn't happen, ultimately it was like, okay, well, now we're just gonna have to make do. But probably they've heard the noise, they've had to dig into the pockets, and you can kind of see, I mean, look, I know that a lot of them are on probably better money than what we would usually think, but when you look at the card itself, you can clearly see that this is like, you know, a end of year, a budget, you know, like maybe one of those get out the last bits of the budget type of cards. Even though the top 2 fights, well, like the main fight is obviously like the most competitive / best one, but there's 2 like really good fights on there, and then there's a lot of names, but we don't even know half the opponents. So chances are the opponents aren't going to necessarily be anything special. That's what I'm going to assume right now. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I know that Vidal Riley's on it. I think Reese Edwards is on the card as well. Lauren Price. I was looking. I couldn't make out the person that she was fighting on the original poster, the new poster that came out. So if anyone can get that name for me, that would be appreciated. I'm trying to think who else is on that card. Those are the only ones I can remember: Lauren Price, Reese Edwards, Vidal Riley. Might be a couple others, but again, a lot of them with, you know, no name next to the opponent. So everyone's fighting TBA is a bit busy again this year. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see, you know, what's the situation there. Bexy Mateus, thank you, Philip. And you guys know I watch female boxing. I've not heard of her, but maybe I have seen a fight and didn't know it was her, so I'll have to go and check the record in a little bit. Can't do it now since I'm actually using the phone to stream on, and I don't know where any of my other phones are at this point. Man like Jay Lanks in the building, big up. Man like Danny Glover from Fight Fan TV, shout out to you. Base, I guess the fans have to thank you for this Liverpool card even being put together. Well, I mean, I hope I had a small part to do with it. I was told that there was a chance that a card was going to happen on the 14th. When I spoke to Benny, he did allude to another card happening in December, but I can't lie. When do we normally only get news of a fight card like 4 weeks before it's due to happen? That doesn't happen very often. So you know, you say, even though there's a potential date, it was definitely rushed together. Like, it wasn't, you can tell this wasn't something that was well thought out and planned ahead. It was probably a reaction to some of the stuff that maybe happened on the Riyadh season show. But if you remember, Michaela Mayer said that her and Jonas wanted to do the rematch, and she was down to do the rematch for time, but Boxer just couldn't get the dates together. They said one time it was going to be June, then they was looking at July, and then they was going to August, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared, and they just couldn't get it, and so she had to move on, hence why she ended up going to the Sandy Ryan fight. Now, the one thing I will say about that, and obviously I'm not saying it's cap, but when Michaela Mayer said that, well, you had Top Rank pay Sandy Ryan to go over to New York and fight you in the States, right? So why didn't they make an offer for the Jonas fight? You know what I mean? That's where you look at it and say something maybe isn't quite adding up the way it should. Oh man, like Star Fox WR45E in the building. Shout out to you. No testing, said Philip. How long till they start calling him Tevin Farmer? Yeah, but it's not Tevin. Tevin's the one saying he weren't drug tested and complaining, like he's saying it was in his contract to get tested and he wasn't tested. So the insinuation is that William Zabeda is the one that maybe should have been carefully looked at. Andre's Golden Boy is a scam. A typical boxer card, woeful. Boxer need to go back to the drawing board. What have I missed? We just been talking some boxer. Just their card just coming up on the 14th. How it feels very rushed. The main event was in the works for a while, but they probably had to put pressure on Sky to finally get the date over the line after a lot of the backlash and stuff that was coming out. So Mark Jeffers, Mason Cartwright, and Frankie Stringer. Yeah, thank you, Danny. Yeah, Mason Cartwright. I can't believe I forgot that, and I should remember because he was, what's it called? I still remember that knockout that he received from what's his name? Someone put it in the chat. The guy that knocked out Mason Cartwright standing on his feet last year. The name's gone out of my head. The black guy. Star Fox. Thanks, Base. Hearn Warren Shalom the Kid. Emma. I feel kind of bad for the boxer fighters announcing a card with 4 weeks notice because Ben was shamed into it. Never change, Emma. Never change. Okay, so I've got a question for you guys. That's it, Villa. Thank you, Samuel Antwi. You know when names just be escaping me these days. I forget the names of people quite frequently now. Never used to, not as much, but Shakan Pitter stopped him. Yeah, he stopped him as well. That's true. Tony Sims card, boxer card, Anusik card, and Inoue fighting. Anything else? What you talking in the next couple of weeks or in general? There's a top rank card on the 7th, I think. I'm trying to think. Who's fighting on December? Warren as well. There's the Magnificent 7 card on the 7th of December. There's also something in the States that weekend. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's Top Rank. Or is it Golden Boy? It might actually be Golden Boy, But there is a card on the 7th of December. Shout out to man like Jam Down 187. Big ups to you. It's probably age based, no offense. Well, to be honest, it has happened sporadically. It's a bit more, but you know what it is? When I need the name right now, like if I need something like in that spur of the moment, I can't remember it. But let someone else need to know who did X, Y, and Z, and it's there. So it's only ever whenever I'm sort of in this situation and I just need it, that's when it decides to disappear. To be honest, I've kind of been like that since I was young. So this is the one. Navarrete Valdez 2, Espinoza Ramirez 2. Thank you very much, man. I knew there was a card on the 7th. So yeah, that's all the main stuff on that week. But what I did want to ask, because you brought it up, Selassie. You've said those cards, but you also forgot about the Monte Carlo card, which is on the same night as the boxer card. So I want to ask you guys, which one are you going to be watching? The one on the zone from Monte Carlo, or are you going to be watching the one taking place Liverpool? I'd like to go to the Liverpool card, to be honest. I always want to support Natasha, especially as she's not going to be around much longer. I need to kind of get out there as I can. But yeah, Liverpool's not one of my favorite places. I'll be real. And the travel, the accommodate, I'm already going to be spending too much money that month. I'm already doing the Birmingham trip next week, which is going to tap me out. I don't really want to be trying to do 2 weekends in a row, because I got to go from the Thursday onwards, because you go for the presser and all that other stuff. It's hard. Not made of money like I used to be. Umpires. I think Ryan Garcia gonna smoke that guy that Pacquiao smoked. Oh, that smoked Pacquiao recently. Oh, what, his exhibition fight in Japan? Yeah, isn't that on it's not on the 30th? I'm sure that's on like the 30th of December. Shout out to James, big up to you. Blessings. Okay, I'm just gonna flip between the two cards. Yes, as Fight Fan says, please everyone hit the like button if you're in the building. It's always appreciated. Tuning in just for Beatrice. Okay, I hear that. I'll be tuning in for Beatrice, and I'll be tuning in for Chev Clark, even though I can't remember who he's fighting, but those would be the main two. In terms, is it MJ Akhmadaliev? Is he in the main event? Well, if depending on the times, innit? If Tasha's on at the same time as Akhmadaliev, then I'm watching Tasha. But if they stagger them, then yeah, I'll flick between the two. Ahydra Selassie says he's going with the zone. James says he probably watched both. I mean, that's the good thing now, is that, okay, I may not be able to watch both live and like pay attention to both of them, but I can watch one and then I can go back and watch the other at my leisure. So it just depends. Speaking of which, though, that night on the 14th, especially because I probably won't be going to Liverpool, I will be doing a live watch along for Saturday night's main event, the WWE premium live event show. Since I'm not doing Survivor Series, I definitely will do that one, and I'll probably might do a stream for the boxing as well, for anyone who's interested in that. James, 4 weeks notice for the boxer fighters. Yeah, well, to be honest, I'm pretty sure the majority of them were told, we're thinking of a date here, get yourselves ready. They was probably told that from like the start of October, maybe very, very late September. So say, look, just get ticking over, get yourself in shape just in case. It's going to be their opponents who are not going to have notice. Their opponents probably won't, because I think only one opponent's been announced, right? And that's Lauren Price's opponent. Maybe there might be one other fight. So, they're talking about 4 or 5 weeks for them. Everyone else is getting drafted in the week before the presser. You're probably going to see a lot of TBAs on the press table, and people just turning up for the weigh-ins the day after. Philip, probably the Liverpool one, since Vidal Riley is on there, because I'm a supporter of him from the influencer side. I respect it. DAZN Monte Carlo for Toby. Toby, I got a question for you, and I'm gonna pick on you a little bit because October seems to do this. Which fight's gonna have the better ring card, girls? Put in the chat, talk to us, let us know. It's a shame Ryan is allowed to do this while being banned for doping. Yeah, well, I guess different countries, different states, different commissions, all that stuff. And I guess because it's an exhibition, it's not an official fight. So yeah, my son is a Chev fan, so he'll try and make you watch that. Hear that? Oh yeah, Hitchens and Paro. Yeah, that's on the 7th as well. I knew there was one I was forgetting. The beauty of the pencil. Shout out to you. Yeah, Callum Smith's back on that card. I doubt it's going to be against anyone good. I don't even know if it'd be against anyone like decent. But it'd be good to see him back. If he's back like long term, then yeah, it'd be good. If not, then this is probably just one quick warm up, and then a cash out fight next, like win, lose or draw. Tony, pugilist boy in the building. Shout out to you. Evening. I saw what they did to you on Monday Night Smoke this morning when I watched it back. So yeah, I know you got that spar that you're trying to hook up with Travis. But don't forget, you still got work on this side, Tony. So we're gonna sort that out before the new year, 100%. And I know Danny wants to jump in as well, get a little move around. Like we could all do a round robin. and we're gonna use a small ring as well. No 20 by 20s or 22 by 22, 16 by 16. Like both people foot inside the car wheel, inside the rubber wheel. The first person who steps out loses. See it. Let's see if you're on that one, Tony. Proper Creed 2 business. All right, what do you think about the Tevin Farmer statement regarding testing? Yeah, literally just spoke about it, James. I think that I reposted it, and I said, look, Oscar and Mauricio Solomon got some explaining to do, because it's a part of the WBC, right? It's a WBC interim title on the line, therefore should be subject to the clean boxing program. So how did they not have testing guaranteed at least on fight night for the fighters in one of the chief support bouts? Bit mad. Obviously they ain't gonna get back to me, but I'm sure enough people put the pressure on, someone's gonna have to respond. Callum Smith said Christmas is coming up, get me paid, Eddie. Yeah, probably. And Tony's like smoke everywhere. Tony got to be in the ring like a fatal four-way. Literally, he's got to be in the middle with three guys around the side, all trying to jab. He's just got to evade everyone. That'll be hilarious. And we'll see what, according to Tony, we'll see what a real 56, 57-year-old is like. Shout out to Jay Lanks in the building. Tony's like, let's go. All right. We'll sort that. 100% we're going to get that done. I need to find my gloves. I'm going to have to get a groin guard as well, because I don't trust Tony. He's short as well, so I know them shots are going to stray low, even unintentionally. Yes, big salutes to all the people them. Big up Toby for taking the league this season. Oh jeez. Tony eating body shots. Phone booth sparring. Yeah man, I can't bother to do the moving around, man. I'll get tired. I can't let Tony. He probably can beat me for stamina these days, because I'm bulkier than he is, and I don't really do cardio much anymore like I used to. So he's active in the gym. I'm in the gym, but I'm in the gym lifting weights. He's in the gym like practicing his form. So I'm gonna have to do a couple quick shadow sessions, get myself back right, get myself loose, get all the joints oiled up, and we'll be good to go. Have a Zimmer frame close by for after. Well, we'll have a wheelchair, because I'm sure something gonna snap on Tony trying to do all the matrix moves like he did 20 years ago. Sugar Ray Tony. Just make sure your gum shield is strong. Oh, don't worry, my gum shield is perfect, but you'll never get the opportunity to test it out. Promise you that. Arms too short to box with God, my son. You know my arms are like twice the size of your son. I'll keep you on the outside. You ain't catching anywhere up here. Right. So, I know it's early, but how do you see Hitchens Paro going? I can't lie. I mean, look, Paro is on form at the moment, but Hitchens is the style matchup. This particular style matchup doesn't suit Paro. Like the pressure fighter in Subriel Matias, that kind of suited him more, because he's a boxer puncher. He waits for openings. But because Hitchens is more like he's a pure boxer, he's just gonna stick that jab, and he's just not gonna really take too many chances. So he's not gonna give you a lot to really be able to either work off or counter. So unless Paro can become a pressure fighter overnight and just get on the inside and make it rough and rugged that way, and risk obviously eating a heavy shot, Hitchens is probably favorite stylistically. Yes, please, people, keep smashing that like button. WD-45 for Tony. Tony knows it's all love. Well, it's all love now anyway. Obviously, when we get in the ring, it's all business. And Base, have you seen Transformers 1? Yes, I have. But Philip, I said we're gonna do all of that talk on Thursday. Right. No more questions about films and stuff. We're going to do all of that on Thursday. But yes, I've seen it. And we will talk about that and many more. Oh, what? So Joshua Bawatsy's pulling up to see you get embarrassed, Tony. Is that what you're saying? All right. I respect it. I respect it. Bring Dwayne in as well. Like, let's make it the whole team can come and come and witness. I love Gladiator too. Okay. Come back on Thursday, Tony. We'll talk about it. I'll bring you on. We could talk about all of them films. I'll bring you on. Philip can come on. Muller, you definitely got to jump on. You don't have to have your camera on, but we definitely got to talk some films, not just in the chat, because there's been some bangers over the last few weeks even. I'll jump on. Love that. Okay. Folks, it's live. Shout out to you, man. It's been a little while. I've bet against Poirot too many times. Matthias and Love, big up every time. No, do you know what? Again, I think in terms of their level of competition, I definitely think Poirot's the better. But I think in terms of how well schooled they are, like Hitchens is a very schooled guy. He's a very, very skilled and very well schooled guy. But it's just his style. I'm looking at it from a stylistic point of view. Poirot, I think, can get it done, but Hitchens just has all the natural advantages, and he's got pop. He's not like he's feather fisted. So unless he gets mad drained from the rehydration of the IBF, you know, I think he'll be. I think he's likely to come out on top so far. But I'm gonna have to obviously do a lot of analysis, read a lot of stuff, and just see what it says. I'll jump on. Lovely. We've got a good 2025 lined up. Yep, 100%. Shout out to Alexander Wilson in the building. Gladiator 2 doesn't come out until Friday in the States. Don't spoil it. Ah. Wait, how does it come out over there after it comes out here? That's mad. All right, I'll tell you what, Alexander, do me a favor then. When I set up the stream, just come in, like the stream, and then watch it on Friday, or watch it after you've watched the film. I'll try not to. I won't talk really spoilers, but I can't, you know, vouch that no one else will say. I'm just going to talk generally about what I thought of the film, innit? I won't really give out plots. I'll do my best, but if you want to be totally safe, then that's probably the best bet. Like, don't watch it. But the film is very, very good. That's what I will say. My wish list 10 fights for 2025 is exciting. As in fights that you know are happening, or the ones that you want based on what you put in the boxing group, Tony. All right, keeping it very casual, very light. Ones I hope get made. Okay, cool. That makes sense. Natasha will be joining us in about 5-10 minutes. I think the last time I spoke to her, she said she was jumping into a O2 chamber. So she's now we know how she stays so youthful. Also, guys, let me know what's the sound like. I just want to make sure that the sound's good, no issues. You know, everyone can hear me clearly. Doesn't sound echoey or anything like that, or tinny. Folks, is live. I'm hoping the bookies make Fury the favorite somehow. I hear that. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's easy money, but that's a good one. That's some nice money there if it happens. But chances are they'll probably make Usyk like an 8-13. Or 8-11, and Fury would be probably like a 5-4 or something like that. Sound is crisp, perfect. All right, brilliant. Thank you very much, people. Because I never know how it sounds when I'm going through the StreamYard app, because I'm not even using the browser anymore. They finally got the app, so I'm using that. Everything seems to be working a lot better using the app than when I was on the laptop, and you going through the browser. So hopefully, long may it continue. So I want to ask, where do you see Dillian Whyte in the heavyweight division now? Unfortunately, nowhere of significance until he comes back into a meaningful fight. And I say that with all love to Dillian Whyte, because you guys know he's still one of my favorites. Like, I still ride for Dillian, like, in that sense, but I can't say that he's anywhere significant in the division. Like, he's been out for over a year. Maybe no, technically it's not over a year, but he hasn't boxed anyone of any significance. The last significant fight he had wasn't the greatest. Obviously, the Fury situation. He's always said, like, I want to be active, I'm better when I'm active, but hasn't been active since 2021. So, there's probably still a little bit there. There's still some little bit left, but I mean, he'll never get to, where he probably should have deserved to go back in the day if it wasn't for WBC and all the politics that they had. I want to seize this chance. I want to seize this chance to commend your interview prowess. You got skills, brother. Keep up the good. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. I think the main thing is not going into any interview with an agenda. You just kind of let the interview go as it goes, innit? Just let it flow, and whatever happens, and you don't stick rigid. But mainly ask what you want to ask. Don't be afraid to ask questions. That's kind of my thing. And I'll never disrespect anyone in an interview, even if, like, I disagree with what they're saying. You guys have seen me. I've backed against a lot of points that have been made before. I've given critiques on answers and stuff. I remember I did it with Frank Warren, and he punched me in the arm. It wasn't a hard punch, and he was making a point of something else. But we got to be careful. Someone might swing on you from time to time. He's around Joyce level, maybe, possibly, but even at the minute, Joe Joyce, again, he's another one. Like, in terms of the heavyweight division, he's still there. He's still a name, but he's irrelevant until he proves otherwise. So yeah, White lost his punch resistance long ago. Yeah, you know what? His punch resistance was never the same after the AJ fight. It's like once AJ found the cheat code, it's like he cracked it for everyone else, and there was no. Because remember, in that whole fight, Dillian was eating shots like left, right, and center until the 7th, and then it's almost like, yeah, that one crack happened, and it's never been repaired. So, and obviously we know about him. He got shot in the head, he got shot in the leg, so it could be some issues there as well. Like, it's never quite the same. Umpires, we got Harlem Eubank on Friday, and then Edwards versus Yafai on Saturday. Not bad weekend. No, hopefully I will be available. I'll be around to watch the Eubank fight, because I will be. Also, I'm going to be in Birmingham. Hopefully I'm by a TV, because it's on Channel 5, I think. So hopefully, but you never know, because it's a Friday night. I might want to, let my skull down and just head out on the town, see what I can find. You know how it goes. The Tete fight sucks. A WAC rematch would be more watchable. I mean, yeah, I know he's promoting this. He's only had one loss, and it was to Daniel Dubois. But look, it's the thing is, if this was like a Tete fight and then he was fighting again in January, like at the end of January or the start of February, cool, I'd accept it. But it's like, you can't have this fight and then you're not back out again until April, May, because it's not a great look. And realistically, unless you knock him out in the first round, because talking about how he's only lost to Daniel Dubois, so now you're making a comparison. So you have to do what Dubois did. If you even let him land a glove on you, it then looks it looks bad. So shout out to Fidel Tawaldi. What's up, base? Dillian should fight Wilder. Hergovich, Anderson, Big Baby, or Bakodi to be back in the conversation. Yeah, those are all very good names. I mean, the Wilder fight, yes, I think that's the only fight for Dillian where no matter when it happens, no matter if they're washed or not, that fight still garners attention, because it was the fight that, you know, ultimately, look, we all know that Wilder ran from that fight for years. Whether you thought Wilder would knock him out or not, he's the one that didn't want that fight. Dillian making way back to the ring after doing a couple of appearances on Monday Night Smoke the past couple of weeks. Shout out to Jay Lanks. And big up man like Vamp. I don't even know if he watches the channel, but wait, Matchroom have a show. Which week are you talking about, Philip? Matchroom have got a couple shows. The Paro show's on the 7th. The Sonny Edwards Galauya 5 fight is on the 30th. They've also got the Monte Carlo show on the 14th, and then obviously they're technically they're not Usyk and Fury, but they'll have a couple fighters on that undercard. If Dillian goes blood and thunder with Tete, we know where his level is 100%. I don't know which Dillian turns up. There's no Matchroom show this week. There's boxing on this week, but it's not really anything special, Philip. So I will do obviously a basis picks, but it's a lot of more lower level stuff. But yeah. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being in the building. And right now, I can see I got backstage. The lovely Tash is there. I'm just trying to find out if she. Are you coming on camera, Tash, or are we just doing voiceovers today? Let me see. Let me just check the private chat quickly. Let me read a couple more comments. Do you think Dillian should go down in weight? He was better at 240, 245. Yeah, he definitely was. He was quicker, sharper. I'm just driving. I'll come on. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna bring Tasha in about 5 minutes. Sorry, I thought Sunny versus Jafar was this weekend. Yeah, no, that's next weekend. All right, let's put some of this on for a few moments. Yeah, no, Dillian was definitely better around 240. The problem is Dillian can't make 240 anymore. Like, no matter what he's gonna do, if he goes down there, it's gonna be like a shell of himself. And it's not even because he's that much bigger than that now, but as you get older, it's just harder to maintain that kind of weight and still be effective. And you can kind of tell Dillian, he trains, but he doesn't really I don't think he looks at boxing or like training as a lifestyle. It's literally just to get in shape or to be in fighting shape. So I don't know if he can naturally go to 240, 245 and maintain that kind of level. But look, we can hope. I just want him to have a couple good performances. Whatever he does, whether he gets to fight Chisora again, whether he fights Miller, whether he gets the Wilder fight, whatever he does, I just hope he gives it his all, and he at least looks somewhat like he used to. Base, will you watch the Gibb versus Slim fight? No. Well, actually, no. Let me not say no, because it's not pay-per-view, so I may turn it on if I'm not doing something. I'll happily maybe just watch it in the background, but I'm not going to be sort of prioritizing it over anything. Or maybe I'll check the highlights. There's only a couple of the Misfits guys that I get entertainment from watching on the whole. To be fair, Slim is one of them, but yeah, I'm not that interested in that card. The Tommy Fury versus Darren Till fight, I might watch that one. I've got a little bit of intrigue in that. I don't know. There definitely won't be any watch along or anything for it, but possibly. I think you'll be entertained with this fight. I mean, maybe. quite possible. Um, Till due to get smoked. No? Well, I mean, look, he doesn't have a boxing background, but I think Till's mainly a kickboxer, so they translate quite well to boxing. And if for nothing else, he's tough. And like Tommy Fury has no power, so I doubt he's gonna get I doubt he's gonna get knocked out or anything. And let's not forget, like, people act as if Jake Paul got absolutely washed by Tommy Fury, like it was a split decision. One of the cards it was even 4 rounds apiece, but minus a point to Tommy because he got knocked down, and the other 2 cards were 5 rounds to 3. So it's not like he was boxing a masterclass 8-0 or anything. So I'm sure Till will have enough success. Crazy that Tommy is working for KSI and he beat him. Yeah. Okay. All right, so I think Tash is ready to go now, ladies and gentlemen. So let me pay the proper respects. Let's get rid of the ring walk music and bring in the lovely. So we're going to say the former unified super welterweight light middleweight champion, the current reigning welterweight champion of the world, attempting to unify her second division. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up. See some round of applause in the chat for Miss GB, Natasha Jonas. Tash, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good stuff, good stuff. How's your day been? How's training been going so far?
Yeah, it's just been a little bit hectic with a bit of media, and then obviously getting me 2 free sessions in. It just came out of an oxygen chamber as a bit of recovery, so spent an hour in there recovering, chilling.
I was saying to the people when you told me that, I'm like, okay, so now we know the secret of how you still look so young.
I've got to replenish them cells as best I can. So yeah,
Very true.
every little bit that I'm always looking to see how can I improve myself, obviously within the realms of being able to. Yeah, and oxygen chamber is one of the things that come up. And luckily, I actually went and visited the company in Poland, and they give me one. So
good. Listen, Tash, you've been out of the ring for a while. You've been out since January. I've seen you a couple of times. I've spoken to you. I've asked you about this Habazin fight and stuff, and you always said don't really know what's going on. And I know Joe had some choice words last week or the week before, but at this point, look, we finally got a fight over the line. Are you more frustrated that it's taken this long, or just kind of relieved that it's actually happening, or a bit of both? How are you feeling?
it's definitely a bit of both. At the time, I going through the year, there was loads of dates. There was March dates that came up, then there was a date in June, then there was a date in August, then there was a date in September, November, and then 2 dates in December. So to actually get the date, now that I've got it, I'm just relieved. But as you can imagine, that's really, really frustrating. And it's the opponents change, and we were trying to get rematches, and it just doesn't work out the way you ever want. But I've got a date, and that's what I'm grateful for. That I've got a date. I'm going to be out before the end of the year, and then we'll hit the ground running next year. And yeah, maybe I can finally retire.
Well, look, a perfect way to at least go into Christmas. Nice little payday. I'm sure Mila's going to be very happy about that.
Yeah.
So I know you just said there, look, you was trying to get rematches. So I know that you're talking about the Michaela Mayer fight, because I know she was very vocal saying that, that you was up for it. You wanted to do the rematch, but Boxer just didn't have the date, so they couldn't find a date for the two of you. But a question I kind of want to ask you regarding that, like, where was Top Rank? Like, why do you think they didn't try to make an offer for the rematch, seeing as the first fight was obviously so quote unquote controversial but big and a big talking point?
So from what I understand and from the conversations that we had, they believed that the fight was bigger in the UK. and they are probably right, which is probably why we see so many American females on these shows. But then they did try and get it on a Queensbury show, but then it was then between Boxer and Queensbury to sort it. I'd agreed terms with Top Rank, and then when them terms went to Queensbury, it wasn't agreed between Boxer and Queensbury. I think that's where the breakdown was. So, it's not just as simple. I wish it was just as simple as two boxers wanting to fight, because it's the easy bit. Every boxer wants to fight, and so it's the contractual bits of business behind that, and about how it goes about. And I think it was just too difficult, and not both sides didn't agree. So that's why it ended up not being, because that would have been a joint Top Rank and Queensbury show, I think, or at least that fight would have been. But obviously, Boxer and Queensbury couldn't agree to terms.
Okay. I guess sticking on that topic for a moment, and then I want to circle back to something you said a minute ago. But obviously, Michaela Mayer and Sandy Ryan ended up being her next fight. Michaela's, she got the title. People think it's close, controversial. There was the issue with like the paint and everything. I just want to go back to sort of what was your kind of thoughts of that fight, and potentially were you then looking at those two as a potential option for like your next fight if this fight couldn't have been made?
Yeah, anyone who's got a belt is an option. There was always an option. Like I said, the Michaela Mayer rematch was something even before that fight, before she won, that we was trying to do and get. So obviously now that she's gone on and won a belt, that makes it an even bigger fight when it comes eventually down the line. So it's still in my target, still in my sight, and hopefully that's the fight that we can get. Obviously there's fights I've got to do before, and I'm trying to concentrate on them before.
Of course. And I won't speak too much about other fighters. Every time I've spoken to you, I've always been conscious, stay focused on where we're at, because we've seen so many times it goes wrong when you focus in other directions. Just a moment ago though, you were speaking about, there was so many dates that that Boxer were proposing for the rematch, or just for you to get out on another card, and they just weren't really materializing. So I spoke to Ben back at his show that he done, the last show that he did at OVO Stadium, and the arena, sorry. And he said basically that basically Sky were trying to promote the big fights this year. They didn't really have any like box office events, things of that nature. But in 2022, when Boxer came out, I think they did about 16 shows. Last year, I think they did like 12 or 13, and they only did 7 this year until this one's come out. Like, how is it for you to kind of stay motivated with, such a decrease in fight dates from when you first went over there and, was regularly active, to now you don't even know if they're going to be doing many shows in the year? Like, how did that kind of play out for you?
It just makes it hard to, obviously, there's a number of fighters that they got. Everyone's got a different type of contract. And if, some of the newer ones are probably got, 3 or 4 fights a year on their contracts. If you're only doing 7 dates, then, they've got to be on them cards. And it makes the spaces fill up really quick, which then, leaves you in a bit of a awkward situation, in that, you want to be on the big cards, but then you also want to be out and active. And then it's like, it's like the whole, like I say, it's a business. So I don't really get the financial side, but obviously, they have a certain amount of money for each fight date, and, the seat tickets and, whatever has to pay for that, and put Sky add to the pot. And I don't know how it works, but then, if you're one of the bigger fighters, we're in one of the bigger purses, then it's harder for you to get on shows. I think some of the main stuff was, or from what I understand, is that, I think Wardley Clark was supposed to be a fight that was here again, the rematch, but that ended up going to Saudi. I think Boatsi Yard, obviously, because of, I don't know whether there was issues with the contracts or whatever, that was supposed to be another big fight that was supposed to happen, and it hasn't happened yet. So it's just a series of unfortunate events that just haven't played out in my favour. But it's frustrating, but there's nothing you can do about it. So you just have to do what you always do and just stay active, stay in the gym, and be ready for the call up when it comes, which I was, 4 weeks notice, and I'm ready to go.
Oh, look, that's commendable. Look, do you think it's more maybe Sky are reluctant to give the dates, or just Boxer maybe just didn't have the same resources that they used to have to actually put those dates on? I don't know. Like you said, I don't know if it's Sky gives them a certain budget for the year or a certain pot and that's what you deal with, or if they put it on and then Sky maybe top up on the extra. So yeah, I'm not really sure about that, but how do you think it was more of a Sky choice, or just Boxer just didn't have either the dates or maybe the roster, because they tried, they've moved into Saudi with everyone else now, and you've got to spread the stable a bit more?
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't like to speculate either and get myself into trouble, either from Sky
Fair
or
enough.
from them.
Fair enough. No, I appreciate that. Okay, so another question though. Ben Shalom, and this wasn't in my interview, and I can't remember whose interview it was, but I did see him say ultimately, this to what Joe had basically come out and said when he was obviously very vocal about this not happening and things not moving quick enough for you. And he had said that you're obviously one of their prize assets. You're one of their, their stable, their stalwarts, of people that they really champion. But like, because of your profile, you can only really be on like the box office events, because that's the kind of money you're on. But this isn't a box office fight. So I'm just wondering how that statement kind of plays out, if you know what I mean. Did you have to take a pay cut to have this fight, or are you still getting paid what you negotiated? I'm not asking you how much, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, there's things that I've accepted in order to fight. Let's just say that.
Okay.
But yeah, like I think I don't know if I can't think of the interview, but I'm pretty sure he said they had to headline or it has to be a pay-per-view. So I'm headlining, so I think that kind of covers myself.
Okay, I get you. All right, coming back to that question, I want to flip that. So you've been boxing since amateur. You've been a good 20 plus years in the sport, dedicated a lot to it. Either amateur or pro, I want to ask a question. If you don't have to tell me, but what is the least amount of money you've boxed for, and how did you carry on after receiving that?
The least, well, amateurs is free. You don't get paid in the amateurs, so I funded myself for a lot of it until I got on the likes of England. You got your expenses back, but they took a while. And GB, you were a funded athlete, so that depended on your grade. For male and females, it's exactly the same. If you win, a certain caliber of medal or in a certain caliber of competition, then you get a certain amount of money monthly. So that's standard for any athlete.
Okay.
Professional. When I first started out, I think I was on £1,000 a round.
Oh, so did you have to make the round stretch to to get a couple extra?
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you knocked them out in the first round. If you were on an 8-rounder and knocked them out in the first round, then you still get 8 rounds worth of money. So whatever scheduled fight you was on, that was the round that was the amount of money that you got.
Okay.
I think that's probably, unless you're, an Olympic champion or, someone of some sort, then that's kind of the deal that most people will turn on to, especially if they've got a TV deal. If you haven't got a TV deal and you're on a small hall show, then I think the standard is cover your opponent, covering your opponent and their expenses, and then 50-50 between what's left over between you and the promoter that's putting the show on. So I think that's the standard for a small hall show that's not on TV. So yeah, it's not all glitz and glamour. And you see some people sometimes, I'm not going to mention any names, but you see people asking for help to sell tickets and stuff. And you've got to help them because that game is hard. At least on TV,
No,
you're guaranteed a certain amount of money when you're not on TV. And I've done a couple of non-TV shows that, it's a bit harder to make the money.
no. Thank you. I didn't know that it was like that. Obviously, I knew that there's least amount of money. I knew about the promoter thing, and you have to pay for your opponent and stuff. But the 1,000 around thing was interesting. So when that was obviously
I think
happening, like
1,000 or 2,000 is probably, some promoters pay more than others. I think Frank is a better. And I remember getting an offer from David Hay before I'd even signed with Eddie. And his was, I think, maybe 2,000 around, but he didn't. He was umming and ahhing about TV deals at the time, and he ended up losing it. So that's why I didn't go with David Hay.
oh, okay. Again, that might be an exclusive. I don't know if you've told that to them before.
I don't
But
think I have.
okay. Oh, well, thank you. I'm going to clip that up and put that out. So when we look at that, and so obviously you're 1,000 around, 2,000 around, whatever it is, and at that time, is it just a case of you're almost like, oh, I'm just happy that I'm getting the money, so just let me keep getting fights, or is it like I'm grinding and this is all I'm making, and I'll have to kind of live on this until my next opportunity, or how did you kind of go through things at that point?
Yeah, it's because when you get to the fight point, you've already paid for the camp. So it's not that bad at the start because it didn't have as many overheads as I probably do now, because the higher you go up, the more you have to invest in yourself. So now I have a strength and conditioning coach. I have a sports psychologist. I have a physio. I have a nutritionalist. And then I am my own manager, which takes that part chunk away, but then you have to pay your coach. So there's lots of and then that's before you're even talking about food, petrol, training camps, before you've even gone to that extreme. So at the start, you're probably minus them that I've just mentioned, but you're still paying to get to camp, you're still paying to train, you're still paying for petrol, you're still paying your normal household bills that everybody has. And you're 10, 15, 20, 25, whatever it is that because everyone's got their own deal with the trainer manager, whatever it is, some as high as 30, 40, 50%. So, when you come back at the end of, and I've got £4,000 from my first four round, and you probably, and then you get taxed as well, you're probably not walking away with very much.
Mhm.
So that's why
Wow.
a lot of people in the first years have like you guarantee like 3, 4, 5 fights because the paces are so low. You think about a normal job, you're guaranteed this much every month, a certain amount, whatever it is. But as a boxer, you don't know month to month. You don't have that month to month thing. You're basically self-employed, so you have to make your money stretch. And then if you are on a deal where you're going to fight 4 to 5 times a year, then you only have to make your money stretch to that next camp, and it's easier. But obviously now when you're waiting 11 months to be back in the ring, it can be tough times.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. I don't know. I don't know if I'd have the discipline to to do that. So look, it's commendable. Look, okay, so they have Arna Abizin fight. So again, like I said, I spoke to you a couple of times, a couple of shows, and you said, look, as far as I'm aware, that's not my next fight, but I'm hoping for it when she was, when she got the belt. So since she has had the belt, how long between sort of then and now has this been the idea, like this fight been in the works? Has there been preliminary talks before, or did this kind of just come together really quickly, like over the last month or so?
Well, she won the I think it was in March, April that she won her belt. March or April. So then I sat down with Ben in the May, and we was discussing when the Michaela Mayer fight can happen, on what show could it happen, how it was going to happen, what it was going to look like. But then it was mentioned then that they had the option on Habazan. So I knew then she's contracted to boxer herself. So it was spoken about that if we couldn't get the Michaela Mayer, then it would be easier to make Habazan. So from May, it's always been a suggestion that she could be, but obviously up until I think it was September the last time we tried to get that was the last final straw for the Mayor, was the September. And then I think she went and got the Sandy fight. So up until then, so then from the September, it was like, okay, now that Mayor's gone, let's go and Mayor took Sandy, let's go and get Habazon. And that was kind of the thought from there.
Okay, that's interesting. And in terms of this December the 14th date, were there any other dates initially sort of thought about with this fight, or was this literally like sort of the next available slot that they had? If that you're like, were there any other dates proposed to you previously for this particular fight?
There was November the 23rd, then there was December 7th, and then there was December 14th. So I think it was in Saudi. That was, well, we'd spoke about November the 23rd before that. So I was like half gearing up towards November the 23rd. This was back in October. And then he said, actually, it might be the 7th of December or the 14th. So then, yeah, we knew it was going to be in and around that time. So that's why, like I say, I've kept myself in the gym. And
Cool. So let's talk about Ivana. So, she's been in the ring with, I'm pretty sure she's in the ring with Clarissa Shields. Now you're fighting her. How much about her do you know? Have you done your scouting report, or is it more about you're kind of just adjusting the ring? Like, what presence and what danger does she really pose to you, in your opinion?
Well, I think she's she's got experience. She's got a good jab, good feet. She's been in with heavier girls. She hasn't been stopped by anyone. So, looking for 10 hard rounds. I think she's been in with Terry as well and Brackhouse a long time ago. So she, like I say, she's experienced at world level, and she's not going to she's not here for the payday. She's here to win. So, I will be always trying to impose what I'm good at, but I do know that, what her strengths are as well, or I think I know what her strengths are, and I'll just prepare for the best version of her.
One thing about you, from the time that I remember seeing you first fight up until now, I haven't noticed a big, if any, like drop off in terms of your speed, like reflexes, sharpness. You always seem to be able to get there just in time. Obviously some fights are harder than others, but you seem to have kept a lot of that. Are you feeling it though in the camps now, or even maybe just within yourself day by day, where you're almost having to do more just to stay the same, and then you're having to almost kill yourself just for incremental creases? Or are you not quite at that physical stage yet, like me?
No, I think I do train a little bit different, because I'm not that 20-year-old that's fresh, and I just, so like the way I put my training sessions together is different than they used to be. I'm not saying not than the previous fight or the previous fight before that, but probably that them last two fight camps have been different from the others, where I just manage myself a little bit better, and that's why I do employ the other sides, like the physio, and the strength and well, I've always had a strength and conditioning coach, but the sessions we do and how we plan it are just slightly different.
Okay. And yeah, I know you were saying, that you've kind of prepped for her strengths, and I'm assuming you're going to try and exploit her weaknesses. I know that you was up at 154 with a lot bigger women, and she's maybe not as big as some of the biggest ones that you was up there with, but is that still something that you are gonna have to be wary about, that she'll probably will be the bigger of you two on the night, possibly, and that poses its own challenges? You may have to speed, but if she gets in close and makes it a grueling fight, like the Marie the Care fight, where it was just leaning on you and you could tell that it was physically taking the toll. Is that something that you almost have to prep for, and get yourself into a mental mind state of, okay, I know this is what's about to happen?
You would train for that. I don't think she's that type of fighter that wants to stand there and lean on you, but obviously there's going to be times, as Southpaw and Orthodox when you are in clinches. So yeah, I think the Eve Decay fight was one of the only times that I felt that weight difference. I don't think Bergelt or Namas was naturally big, so they was probably a bit more like me, was walks around at 154, whereas Eve Decay was probably 160 come down. And when she rehydrated, she was, 160 again. So that was the only fight where I did feel like when we was in the clinches and leaning on each other for, okay, like I can feel the difference. But yeah, I don't think I've honored boxers like that. So I don't think it's that type of fight. But again, you just be like, I trust in everything. Joe is so meticulous in the way that he plans for people and prepares for fighters, that I just trust in everything that he does and everything that we go through in training camp, and the sparring partners that we have to replicate which best asset they could have. And we overcome that in the fight. So
Okay. Now, on your undercard, there's another welterweight champion. Lauren Price is now been added to the card. I watch a lot of women's boxing, but I don't know who her opponent is. I will be honest. Is maybe not you personally, because you got to focus on your fight, but is maybe a member of the team gonna be keeping an eye on her, just in case, maybe she starts talking about whoever wins the main event she wants next? Is that sort of something that you're almost gearing up to know, that if you get through this, you're going to hear the chirping from the new kid on the block, so to speak?
yeah, I think we've heard it a couple of times already, not in a disrespectful way, but we've heard it, and I think the whole idea of us being on the same card and us is going towards that night. I think it's a clash of Britain or a battle of Britain. I think I've heard someone say, it might have been me actually, but that's kind of the thing that boxer are wanting. Like I said, they're kind of the things that I conceded to just to be able to fight. So I can only focus on what's in front of me. I don't want to be blasé and overlook anybody, because everyone comes with the dangers. But obviously, that's a fight that I think she and I know that's probably next.
Okay, well, you know what? I said to you earlier, I'm not going to actually talk to you about other fighters. I'm still not. I'm really, and the reason I'm clenching, because number one, obviously I respect it, but number two, because I know that you haven't got much longer left. You've admitted that. We all know that you're on your sort of your final stretch to greatness, and I don't know how many more opportunities I'm going to get. But I'm going to give up. I'm going to give hope that I will speak to you again, because I've got some fantasy fights that I'd like to book you in down the line, just to see if. Yeah.
I think I've seen the list. I'm happy with your list. I'll say that.
Okay, well, I haven't actually put mine out yet, but you probably have heard me maybe say a couple here or there. What I will say though is, I know that they're probably trying to say, okay, Britain and Price and yourself. I would, if it was me, I would say let her go and do some work. Let her go speak to Michaela. And if she can unify, then we can have it undisputed, rather than make me go around and belt collect each one at a time. I know you might want to do that, but I'm just saying that's that kind of the A-side privilege that you would have at this point. How does that sort of set, if that's how it was to play out?
Yeah, it suits me down to the ground. I think, yeah, I thought initially that was kind of going to be the plan, but it doesn't turn out that way. So do it however it comes, either which way, I'm not bothered.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, I'm gonna leave any other fighters. I want to throw it back to you really quick. What is, I guess, you have this fight. We're 4 or 5 weeks away. How do you envision like the win going? What are you really seeing? And yeah, sort of what's the mentality going into this one, and and how is it different, if at all, from the previous ones? I know it's always going to be, look, I need to win, but is there does it feel different? Does the pressure feel different? Is like, okay, because I know I'm in the final stretch, it means more. Like how do you process this event?
To be honest, I always try in my mind to downplay it, for the simple fact that if you do go in there adding them extra pressures of, yes, it's a home fight, yes, you've got all your family and friends there, 99% of the people in there supporting you, if you add all them things up, they can create a bit of nerves and a bit of extra pressure that you just don't need. So in my head, I just tell myself it's just another fight. Doesn't matter where along the line it is, it's another fight I have to win. And yeah, it's a stepping stone to get where I want. So that's the kind of how I mentally prepare for that fight, because I just don't need any other pressure than it is.
Okay, that sounds excellent to me. All right, last question. And this is away from the fight. It's not about future opponents, but it is about after the fight. So how is Tash and Mila and family and everyone going to be spending Christmas, New Year's? Like, do you have plans for afterwards?
I was gonna try and sneak in. I might try and sneak to Saudi and take Mila with me. So yeah, maybe that happens. But I am a home bird, and my family would never forgive me if we miss Christmas Day here. So we
Okay.
have to be in my nan's. But there's, I think, anything between 18 and 22 people in my nan's house having Christmas
Jeez.
dinner. I will be given, I think this year I've been designated starters. So I'm on starters. Last year I was on vegetables, and I came home the day before Christmas Eve, and I had to find vegetables for, I think, 19, 20 people, and make them all and have them ready for Christmas Day. So needless to say, I had a stressful Christmas Eve, and
Wow.
yeah, it was stressful. But this year, I wanted dessert, but I wasn't that lucky to get dessert. So I've got starters, which isn't too bad.
Well, you know what? The lucky thing is at least it's after your fight and you don't have to think about making weight like you had to last year.
Yeah,
So that's a plus.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
well, look,
Last year I swear the dessert.
look, Tash, it's been brilliant talking to you as always. I've just realized actually, this is the first time you've been direct on my channel. We've had so many interviews, but they've always been on other channels. This is the first time you're on the Hardcore Casual, part of the Casual Stream, part of Base Talk. So thank you very much. Have you got any
Thank
last
you.
words you want to say before I let you go and de-stress from everything?
Yeah, no, sorry it's taken so long. Thanks for sticking with me. Stick around. The best chapters are yet to be written.
Lovely, love that. All right, Tasha. Look, have a great night. Enjoy the rest of the training camp. I hope it's hard, but I hope it's worth it. And
Cheers. Thank you.
if I can, I will try and get some accreditation and come up to Liverpool. But I've got Birmingham the week before. I'm self-funded, so that's a lot of hotels. That's a lot of money. I may
Yeah,
not make it, but I'll try. I'll try.
no problem.
But
Thanks for the
but no,
support
look,
as ever.
of course, have a great one, and yeah, we'll speak soon.
See you later. Ta-ra.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Miss GB herself, Tasha Jonas. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that. I hope you guys did as well. I hope there's some insights in there that you guys didn't know, and I'm gonna go through the chat, see if there's anything I missed before we kind of get going for today. Don't forget there is another casual stream on Thursday, but it will not be boxing related, so don't come here for boxing or anything else. It's strictly movies, TV series, WWE, maybe a bit of UFC sprinkled in, and anything else just outside of the boxing realm. So I see all the claps in the chat for Tash. Till giving it some little John had me in bits. Oh yeah, I saw that. Has Tasha tried the cryo chamber? Tony looking for tips. You can't beat Jake Paul even if the cryo chamber knocked off 25 years. Shout out to Emma, our base asking hard hitting questions, real journalism. Appreciate it. Thank you. Will it be any different if Ben goes to TNT? It's an interesting take. You know, if I should have said, like, because I was focused on the chat, I didn't see anything here. I was literally focused on Tash. The only way I'm going to notice when I'm actually doing that is if I see the color change from like supers, and then I know to ask a question if anyone had them. But no, apologies if anyone actually put something in there. They was looking for me to get those arcs. I was engrossed in the convo. Every time I speak to Tash, we always have very good conversations. And I always learn something new. I remember Tony and myself, I remember we had Tash on, wasn't it like an hour that we just had the conversation on the breakdown? And it was a great conversation. What's the lowest weight you would consider dropping to for the right fight? I think Tash said that 135. She can go as low as 135 and she would go there for the right fight. But that being said, since Katie's at 140, and I think Katie's the only person she's really looking at, I guess 140 is as low as she feels like she'd need to go. Because the right fights is only whoever's got the belts at 147, and maybe whoever's got the belts at 140. The next time I do speak to her after the fight, I'm gonna ask her. I had a list of names of her to fight, and I'll see if she's down for any of those fights, or if not right now. Wow, respect the honesty. Yeah, sacrifice to get out there. Big ups, great intel. Shout out to James Clifford. It was great that Tasha had Jane Couch MBE and now International Boxing Hall of Fame walk her out back in January. It was a great evening, as it was January. I think people have forgotten how good that Jonas versus Mayer was. Yeah, it was a really good fight, and I had Tasha winning it. I was scoring it live, and I had Tasha winning the fight. It was a very close fight, but I did have Tasha winning. Gotta love the sponsors if they're there. Yeah, that's a lot of the boxers, when they ain't got really the big money, they have to have the sponsors to help them pay for the camps and the training and everything. It gets hard out there. And every fight has the potential to be your last. Very true. Seriously good interview. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. But when did Tasha get him? You must have went toilet or something. Come back and oh, there's Tash. Big up Tasha, great work base. Thank you very much, man. Jay Lanks, thank you. James, great interview, good interview. Thank you very much. I'll come for boxing if I please. It's nothing but love, Carmi. Always. Okay, last question, base. Is Jake Paul the face of boxing? He's a face of boxing. You might say he's the face of mainstream boxing. That's fair, because not, everyone knows Canelo within a certain sports world, but everyone knows Jake outside. That being said, let's not forget Jake's numbers are not actually that good most of the time. Well, the pay-per-views are always quite dead. This obviously wasn't a pay-per-view, so the exposure is much bigger than a lot of the other stuff. But I still think Canelo's getting beat, because Canelo does good numbers regardless of who his opponent is. Like, Jake's had some, the Ryan Borland fight was horrid. The Andre August fight was horrid. The Nate Diaz one was pretty decent. But yeah, like, he only does numbers with a relevant person these days. Karma. Big up. Oh, shout out to Raymond Hells in the building. Late but always on time, as they say. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Our hot fives with the super sticker, the $4.99 super sticker. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Great job, base. No, I appreciate you. Look, everyone, thank you very much for being here. It's been a great night. I'm going to actually chop that interview up, and I'm going to put it out as a separate video for anyone who hasn't watched this one. Because yeah, I really enjoyed that. That was really good. Shout out to Natasha, and thanks very much for being on the channel once again. I'm late. How trash is this boxer card though? Got to rate Alex. I mean, yeah, we've spoken about that. But look, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you all for being here. I'm gonna dip out now, but everyone enjoy your evenings, and we will get back to maybe the boxing talk over the weekend. I might do another live for the boxing stuff, but outside of that, yeah, I'm gonna sign out. So appreciate you. For right now, it's the Hardcore Casual out.
I don't care if you agree. I ain't saying that I'm better than anyone, but who better?